Welcome to another episode of the Plant-Based Jan Adventure Series. It's easy to eat healthy at home. I'm here to show you it can be done on the road or in the mountain or at the top of the mountain like the Olympic National Mountain Range. This is considered the Alpine region of the Olympic National Park. Nearly 1 million acres, about 95% wilderness, as you can see behind me. Up here on the top, you've got the most epic views ever. We're going way up there to the top inside the Olympic National Park. Of course, we'll stop by the popular Hurricane Ridge, but I'm also taking a couple more adventurous alternative roads up there. So that's what I'm going to show you in this video. Stay tuned. Because Olympic National Park is so vast, nearly 1 million acres, it makes sense to break the trip into videos into 3 main areas. I'm going to hit each of the 3 ecosystems within the park. It's really hard to put a favorite on any one of these areas. They're all so different. You'll have your opinion. Where in the world is Olympic National Park? It's in the United States. It's in the state of Washington, and in the state of Washington, it's in Western Washington on the northwest corner. Since the park's inception in the early 1930s, nearly 200 million people have visited. Of course, in many areas, it's hard to tell that anyone, even one human, has visited. In recent years, that breaks down to about 3 million, on average, visitors per year. Let's take a look at the 3 different regions of the park. Of course, we have the temperate forests, including some of the wettest, most rainy rainforests where moss and mist and moisture blanket the trees and all the flora and fauna. There's the coastline, where the park meets the Pacific Ocean with sandy beaches or intensely rocky areas. All of the coastline is scattered with sea stacks and old-growth driftwood. The coast is 73 miles long. Many of these miles are not accessible by road or car. Talk about secluded beaches. The other areas of the park include the Alpine area, the mountains, which are the Olympic mountain range. From a distance in many areas of Western Washington state, you can see the profile and the tops of these majestic mountains. The most popular months to visit are July, August, and September, but it does get visitors every single month of the year. Let's go back to the map real quick and I'll show you where the primary home base was for us. Forks, Washington. Great for a few days. As you can see, it's a little town that's not in the park, but it's centrally located to most of the major features. So it's centrally located to all of the coastline and the beaches, the whole rainforest, the Lake Ozette area, Lake Crescent, and it's not too much of a drive to the other major places like Hurricane Ridge and Deer Park. If Forks sounds familiar, it's where you can visit your good vampire friends, Edwin and Bella, made famous by the fiction books. This fun fiction phenomenon has given Forks, which is considered the rainiest city in the contiguous United States at 120 inches of rain a year, a new shot in the arm for tourism. There's just basic amenities there, a couple of accommodation options, a couple of very small restaurants, drive-in. There's a grocery store, hardware store. You're gonna probably be on your own for the most part. Deer Park Road is 18 miles long. The last 9 miles are gravel. It's narrow, it's steep. It's certainly not a drive for everybody, certainly not RVs or trailers. The payoff is well worth it if you make the drive. I want to make a note that it is closed from spring until fall. The biggest challenge is that it's a very narrow dirt road. We've encountered so far about 15 blind corners. So you've got a blind corner on one side where a car could come the opposite direction, in this case downhill, and then you've got a very steep ledge on the other side. So very few pullouts, certainly no turnaround areas so far. We're probably mile 4 or 5 into this drive up to the Deer Park Ranger Station. I've had to get out 4 times so far when cars were coming down to walk us over on the right side. There's not many openings for views along this road, but when it does open up, it is just solid trees, solid forest, primarily Douglas firs is what I'm seeing. Just trees as far as the eye can see, a lot up in this area on the younger side. We are right here. We could take a right to go to Deer Park Ranger Station, but we're going to go all the way up. We can't wait. We want to check out the Rainshadow Trail and the views of Blue Mountain. This is the parking lot for the trailhead. We're pretty far up now, but you can go up even higher. Rainshadow Trail. This is the top of Blue Mountain. The profile of the Olympic mountain range is the iconic frame of the greater Seattle area. Rising up in the west, several peaks exceed 7,000 feet. The highest peak was named after a Greek god. It's called Mount Olympus. They're home to 60 glaciers, and they start just south of the Strait of Juan, Fuca, which is the waterway that splits Canada and the USA. I'm going to show you the best spot. I think I found it to do a full 360 view of the Strait of Juan, Fuca, Mount Baker, and then the Olympics. I'm going to find a spot right on top of these rocks here. Mount Baker almost looks close over there. And then we're looking at the Strait of Juan, Fuca, the town of Sequim. As we pan around, we can see San Juan Island. We can see Canada over there. There's Port Angeles. You can see that boat out there. This clip is shot from the shores of the Strait of Juan, Fuca. I'm out on a spit looking back at the town of Port Angeles and the mountain profile behind. But let's go back up to the top of Blue Mountain and I'll continue panning around. And then if I turn this way and pan around, there are the tops of the Olympic mountain range over there. 1,000,000 acres, mostly wilderness, so wild, so pristine, amazing. Beginning of Three Forks Trail, and we have some walk-in camp spots here. Really pretty right off the meadow. Trail is Slab Camp Trail, and we didn't go all the way to Slab Camp, but you can see it's just cut right into the side of the mountain with all of this natural landscaping. It almost looks too perfect, but it's all just totally natural. And as you watch your step, you've got to make sure that you're not looking out at the view too much. Today we're back for a completely different experience. We're heading up to Hurricane Ridge, and I'll show you some shots of the road. It is very manicured, very nice, with some epic views over the side, but this is a totally different experience. Cecil Doty was a famed architect that designed this visitor center, and he also designed all of this interesting furniture, which has been restored. There's benches, and this was actually used in the visitor center until about 2005. Look at the day. It is about 74 degrees up here at the top of Hurricane Ridge. The unfortunate thing is that Hurricane Hill Trail, the major trail, is closed, so we're not going to be able to do that. But we're going to check out a couple of other trails. We, for the first little run, are heading up Highridge Trail. This is just an easy half-mile loop with some stunning views up here, and then the trail system breaks off from there and you can keep going. Highridge Trail, I use the word easy, it's actually pretty steep. Shot of the visitor center in the parking lot. View keeps changing. Coming up around the bend, I see big water views. We can see Port Angeles on this side, and then we're thinking that is Victoria way over there. I'm walking along the spine up here so you can kind of see views in both directions. The road down there to give you perspective, and then I think right over here is the Hurricane Hill Trail. See along the spine right there? I think that's what that is. It's got to be. That's the one that's closed. What have we here? This is an old ski lift and the Olympic Ski Patrol. It's Hurricane Hill Ridge Trail, and it's closed because of mountain goat management. I found out what mountain goat management means and why that trail is closed. The problem with the goats, since they're not native, is that they were fairly destructive to the plant life up here, and they did have more and more human to goat interactions, including a hiker fatality on Klahani Trail. So unfortunately that's what's happening. They were introduced in the 20s, seemed like a good idea then, bad idea. they are not native to the Olympic Peninsula. They're native to the Cascade Mountain Range. So fast forward, the population a few years ago was up to about 1,000. They started a program to relocate them to the Cascade Mountain Range, where those mountain goat populations are dwindling. There are only so many that they can safely capture and transport, and so the remaining few were it just was not practical to capture them. So they had to come up with a program to take them out in a lethal manner. So for the past couple of years, they've had groups of volunteers, highly skilled volunteers. They are removing all of the mountain goats. The goal is to get them to a population of 0. That's why the trail is closed. This is a great picture of the different mountains. So today we are right here. This is Hurricane Ridge Road. We are, I think we wound around up here, and we're pretty close to this Klahani Ridge. Yesterday we were looking at Deer Park and we were on Blue Mountain. The scenes are much different. I would say up here it's much more of a mountain scene. And of course we're not all the way to the top of the trail. The views will be more epic up there, more expansive if that's possible. But this is the view from right here. You don't see much of the water, the Strait of Juan Fuca out there. This is more of a mountain view. Off the Hurricane Ridge area is a gravel road called Obstruction Point Road. We're gonna take that. As the ranger said, a lot of people aren't comfortable with this road because it's dirt, it could be a little rough, and it's 1.5 cars wide. So 1.5 cars tells you kind of everything you need to know. We're gonna be the 1, not the 0.5. Obstruction Point Road. You have got to do this if you can, if you have the vehicle. 8 miles in, and I would say the first part of it is first maybe 5-6 miles is a lot of trees and some views, but once you get up here, we're in the tip tops of the peaks, and you can see both sides. You can see the Strait of Juan Fuca in the water, and then you can see the other the mountain ridges on the other side too. It is just epic. We just saw a Toyota Corolla, so it's more about the psychology of driving up this road. It's really, there's no high clearance that's necessary. It is 1.5 vehicles across, so not real wide in a lot of areas. So it's just the psychology of it, but it's a very doable road. There are right now a lot of horseflies or some big bugs that are going our speed limit, which is about 15 miles per hour. That's about as much as you want to do, especially around the turns, because they're blind corners. We made it, the end of the road, and from here you have the option of going on several trails. The drive up here is not that bad. I saw a Tesla up here. Dirty, very dirty up here, or dusty I should say. The cars are going to get dusted out and you might get some rattling going on, but so worth the drive, just incredible. Before we hit the next trail, we are going to stop for lunch, and I made my noodle Asian Thai spring roll salad. I've got a video on that if you want to know exactly how to make it, and I always make it just a little bit different each time. I brought a lot of it. The Olympic National Park. The nice part is you don't have to hike all the way up here to get to the top.
And now a quick word from our sponsor, Plant-Based Jam. That's me. I saw a sign in a beautiful place. It said, "Give plants a chance." My message is, please do check into whole food plant-based eating. Food is such a part of the adventure of life. Food is so important. It's what fuels us, and food can free us. The right food can free us from the chronic diseases that hold so many people down, and it's why I created this platform. I had to get this message out. We're at a time in history where we have more prescriptions, more pills, more procedures than ever before, yet more people struggle with chronic disease. 6 out of 10 people, and even more, are burdened with extra weight. Look into the mountain of evidence-based research. It's all been there. It's all been there for decades. There's a lot of great books out there by doctors and scientists who are interested more in healing and prevention of disease than just treating it. They cover every subject. One of them you might be interested in, from the biochemistry of nutrition to autoimmune diseases to cardiology to fiber and our gut microbiome. Everything's out there. You'll have to look past clickbait articles and modern media that are just concerned with views. And if you're wondering what to eat, well, that's my favorite subject. If you like what I'm doing, I would love it if you subscribed. Thanks so much for coming along on this greatest adventure we call life.